right. Okay, we're good. So, we're just having a quick avocado and tomato salad. And I thought that I would show how it looks when my mum makes it, because it's so very French. So here we go. So we're going to start by making our vinaigrette, and we start by some mustard. Now this is the only mustard I have in the house. I am not a great mustard connoisseur, and that's just the one I like. They can't find it in France at the moment. It's been terrible, though. At least almost a year now, they have a shortage of mustard in France, all because the French mustard makers had decided it would be cheaper to use mustard seeds from Canada. And of course Canada's had drought, so they are not selling their mustard seed. Therefore, this trademark of mustard cannot produce enough for the French market. Happily, it's on every market abroad. So I have actually taken some back to my mum from England last August, and she's just visited my sister in Australia, and she's taken some of this exact mustard back to France because she can't buy it in France. So this little pot of mustard at my mum's at the moment, the one she's using at the moment, has actually traveled to Australia and back again in her suitcase. It's ridiculous. So I'm making a salad for two. So I'm using, 3/4 of a teaspoon of mustard. And of course, now that I've started, the dog is moaning. She wants to go outside. It's pouring out with rain. She's not going outside. Otherwise, we'll have wet dog all over the place. So we'll see if I have to go and tell her off in a minute. Then I always put the salt second, because what we want to do is melt the salt with the mustard and the vinegar. If you put the salt after the oil, then the oil will prevent the salt from melting, and you will find the grain in your vinaigrette, especially if you eat it straight away. If you wait a little bit, it might end up melting, but not if you do it straight away. Right, so let's see how much salt. Yeah, a large pinch I would call this. Yeah, maybe if I turn the light on here. Oh wow, that works better. Here we are. So a large pinch of salt. And while we're doing salt, we might as well do the pepper. This is the only pepper we have in the house. Again, I am not a great pepper lover. We don't add it too much to our meals. I do add it with recipes sometimes, not even all the times. It definitely goes in vinaigrette and mayonnaise and things like that. And the way I do it is the way my grandma taught me, to measure just the quantity I want with the back of my spoon. And you see, I mean, compared to millions of YouTube recipes I watch every day, my quantities in spices and seasoning are microscopic, I think. But this is the way I like it, and I think it is pretty French. My parents do add more salt and pepper, or more pepper than I do, but in general, not quite as much as in other countries. All right, so we've got mustard, salt and pepper, and we're going to almost dilute them with our vinegar. So I'm using white wine vinegar because it's the one that's the most neutral almost. It doesn't add any flavor. I have flavored vinegars like raspberry, and at the moment I have a bottle of walnut vinegar that I brought from France last year, and I will use that to enhance the salad. So for example, I will use it on potato salad, or I will use it on green salads, but not on tomato salad, because the flavors would clash then. So here we're using the white wine vinegar because it's neutral and it's not going to clash with the tomatoes. My mom has red wine vinegar as well at home, and she might use that. So I'm making vinaigrette for one. I had 3/4 of a spoon of mustard, and vinaigrette for two. I'm going to put 1.5 of my little spoons. Two went in. We're going to have plenty of vinaigrette. I might keep some for something else tomorrow. And there I want to dissolve the salt, so I'm going to give it a quick stir until I can feel that my salt crystals are melted. I love this salt. I love any kind of crystal sea salt. If I was rich enough, we would have the fleur de sel from France, but I really like this one. This one is made in the east of England, in an estuary not far from London, and I really like it. I think the crystals are amazing. Sometimes they're really large and they look beautiful on the on the food when you're doing. Right, so that's nice and melted. So I had 2 spoons of vinegar, so I'm going to add, I think, 6 spoons of the oil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There. And there we are. So we've got our basic vinaigrette that would perfectly do for today, but Mr. A would like one with shallots in it. And we've been to the market this morning. We've been to Dorchester Market, which is around 40 minutes drive from here, and they had those tiny little shallots which are perfect for 1 vinaigrette for 2, because of course the normal long shallots, that would be far too much for 1 vinaigrette. So I was really happy to see those. It was raining on the market and they were a little bit damp, which is a pity, but wrong knife. Always use the sharpest knife you have to cook. Here we are, that's better. It was lovely at the market as well. It's quite interesting because we haven't, well, this is only the second time we go to the market on a Wednesday in Dorchester, and it seems that the fruit and veg stalls have united in a sort of co-op, and you get a little circuit to walk around with all the possible veg and stalls together, but fruit and veg together. I used to find all the oranges and lemons, and there was all the exotic fruit and veg, and then it went in the center with the potatoes, the carrots. You could find almost everything this morning. But then you queue at the till almost like a supermarket, and you can clearly see that it's different stall holders that have, cooperatively bought all the veg, and then they certainly share the proceed at the end of the day, which looks like a good idea to keep providing good quality produce to the town. It is well attended, that market. It was pouring down and there was a bit of a queue everywhere. There's a couple of cake makers, a lady who does Italian breads and Italian cakes, a butcher, a fishmonger, an amazing gentleman with an Irish accent. Yeah, it was lovely to go there this morning. So I'm cutting my shallot really small, and as you can see, I am not a chef and I have no idea how to chop. That's not, I can't do that. I don't know how to do it. So I do it the mum's way, which is slowly but surely, and trying not to make a mess of it. I suppose I could watch a few videos on YouTube and learn how to do it. We should have we could have a sort of a challenge ourselves to learn how to chop onions like a chef through YouTube videos. That would be fun. Right, so it only takes seconds. I've really cut it really thinly. I think my mum would cut it a bit bigger than that possibly, but that's the way I like it. And it's going into the vinaigrette. I love that pink, it's really, really pretty. So, and that's our vinaigrette ready, and it can wait for a few seconds. I started with the vinaigrette because obviously the avocado might go brown while it waits, while the vinaigrette will not do anything while it waits. Good. Now, tomatoes. I've already started cutting one. The way the French present their tomato salad is in very, very thin slices. So we're going to do the second one together. Well, I don't. Yes, that's the way I have always seen it on buffets and at my parents, of course, and uncle and aunties. Most of them had allotments, so we often would have a tomato salad as a starter when we would go and eat at our uncles and aunties' houses. My grandmother, who had worked for a lord, would always peel and de-seed the tomatoes. And actually, the Italians, I think, traditionally peel and de-seed the tomatoes. We've lost the habit, I assume. We don't do it, my mum doesn't do it, and I don't do it either. So what we're doing is really chopping very, very thinly. So again, you need a good sharp knife. And again, this is French family, not French restaurant. So it is nice and thin. And there we are. So try to keep it together. And then we'll put it on the serving dish. So if I was having guests, I'm just cooking for Mr. A and I tonight, I would make a dish, a presentation dish, and guests would help themselves from the dish at the table. But because there's only two of us, I'm going to make a plate each, and especially that, as you know, Mr. A needs his food presented slightly differently because he's blind, so we do it, or I do it, so it's easier for him to eat. There, and even the very last one gets cut, so we end up with as thin a slice as possible. I can't wait for the summer where we can have tomatoes from the garden. I I am not very good at tomato growing because I'm too shy at chopping the branches off, and I end up with a forest rather than nice neat tomato plants, but I still enjoy doing it. There, and then so for two people we need just 2 tomatoes. I think you would count 1 tomato per guest if you were doing this as a starter in France. So I've got an avocado, which I have already opened, and it's the same thing. We're going to slice it thinly. Very rarely do you find cube avocados on French salads, which yeah, I'm always wary about avocados. I tend to struggle with the skin. There. Okay, so let's have a look. So a little bit of black. It is ripe, but oh, it's so difficult to keep them ripe. This is not from the market this morning. I got it at the supermarket a few days ago. No, you are not going out, little doggy. I do not want a wet dog. No. So this is going to be my plate, and then we're going to do the other half of the avocado for Mr. A, and he's getting his in cubes so he can find them easily in his plate. What? No, I'm know why you want to go out, and it's not because you need to get busy. I know that. So no, mon amour, you are staying in here. There. And then I found these at the local supermarket, and artichokes. I always grow artichokes. I always have artichokes in the garden. They're brilliant because you sow them once and they come back every year. And that's definitely a very French Mediterranean ingredients for salad. I love that. So Mr. A is also having extra English things in it. He's having a pickled egg, some pickled walnuts, his tomato, his artichokes, and his avocado. So very different looking salads, quite English and quite French, I would say. And we just need to add our vinaigrette at the last minute. Always add the vinaigrette at the last minute, because otherwise it wilts whatever you are using it with. So really last minute vinaigrette, like that. That's for me. And for Mr. A. You see, just enough for 2 plates. 2 spoons, 1 spoon of mustard, 2 spoons of vinegar, 6 spoons of oil. There we are. There we go. If you want to, you can add a tiny bit of salt on top. There. French tomato and vinaigrette. Oh no, I made a mess. Bon appétit, les amis. Oh, I don't know. Was this any good? We're getting used to it. We'll see. We will get better as we go.